Job seekers.
The working poor.
Keep working.
Despite having a job.
Jobs.
They took our jobs.
But what about if what you love doesn't fit into the traditional mold of a job or a career?
Everybody knows somebody who hates their job.
Is that what you want? You see, there's all sorts of mixed messages about passion. Do what you love.
And nothing great can happen without beginning first with passion.
That you should follow your interests and your hobbies.
Interest inventories. These basically just assess what your interests are, what you're interested in doing.
And some people say it's more about who you are and what you wish to contribute.
And it starts with really taking a look at who you are.
Who are you?
But if you really want to be a genius in your life, you will do whatever is needed with absolute joy and involvement.
We are all going to be working.
Have a job. The working poor.
Jobs.
I mean, come on, whose life is it anyway? This mix of messages makes it really hard to tell whether following your passion is the right advice or if there are other things to consider. So a few people out there teach what they call the Hedgehog Principle.
The goal then is to land at the intersection of this diagram where you're doing work that you're passionate about and it feels like something that is natural for you, and there's an economic engine behind your work that makes it sustainable.
This is where you find the intersection between what you love, what you're good at, and what the world needs. But if your motivation is to try and figure it out, then you're going to be off the mark and you're going to miss opportunities where you can go and create the life that you actually really love. What you love is the key, most important thing. The things you love, you truly, deeply desire and deeply care about, it will meet other people's needs.
Jobs. They took your job.
So if you imagine your focus like a lens, your focus narrows in on something very specific and brings that to the fore and expands that. That's what focus does.
In an emergency situation, the natural thing to do is to look at the telegraph pole. What happens then is you tend to steer towards them, where you would like to go, and then the car will go in that direction. You'll subconsciously steer there, and you'll stay in control.
If you're busy trying to figure that out and you're sacrificing what you love, that just makes sense that you're not going to be creating what you love. You're going to be creating a compromise and something that's limiting. What you love is the key, most important thing.
They took our jobs. They took our jobs. They took your jobs. Job record-setting job.
There are niche opportunities out there where you can apply your passions and what you love and create the life that you desire.
But there are all kinds of niche opportunities for you to make a livable wage doing something that you love.
So trust it, trust your heart. Whether they're talking about passion or what you love or what you're interested in or not, most of the advice out there ends up landing on some form of figuring out.
But take an inventory of what people tell you you're good at.
It happened accidentally. What I was good at, what I loved, and what paid me well. But for you, if this hasn't happened to you accidentally, this should happen to you intentionally.
Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice.
But if your motivation is to try and figure it out, instead of following what your true passion is and trying to work out how to fit what you love into a pre-existing idea of how the world is, then you're going to be off the mark and you're going to miss opportunities where you can go and create the life that you actually really love. And some of the things I've seen people talk about is the idea of the challenges with focusing on what you love.
If you follow your passion, you're probably going to fail. Let's look at the data. A survey of 500 Canadian students found that their greatest passions were ice hockey and dance. 90% said that they were passionate about sport, art, music, something like that.
Interest inventories.
But if we look at census data, we can see that only 3% of jobs are in art, sport, and music.
And that's true, and that's a fact.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
In an emergency situation, the natural thing to do is to look at the telegraph pole. What happens then is you tend to steer towards them.
And what I believe some of these people are doing is misidentifying their desires. They're looking within that limited space that we were talking about, when what they want is something grander, but they're thinking within that limited set of what they think they can have, not what they truly want. In their real heart, maybe what they want is great relationships. They might want to go out and save the world, change climate change, things like that. And they look at the world and just go, I can't do that. It's all too much. Look, I just want to sit around and play computer games.
Step out of the idea of a career.
Now what they've done is misidentified their desire, going and asking people what they want, comparing what they say they want to what's available and going, there's a mismatch.
But there are all kinds of niche opportunities for you to make a livable wage doing something that you love.
I mean, I was a web developer. When you're asking people what they want, it's a very difficult thing for somebody to tell the truth.
So what do you really want to do?
I want to be a shepherd.
Really? Maybe you should go do that.
And I want to tell you a little secret. I don't believe anyone who tells me they don't know what they want to do. I believe they do know, they're just too afraid to speak it because then they have to do something about it.
I can't stress it enough that the focus you need to have is on what you truly want, what you truly want to do.
And it starts with really taking a look at who you are.
Who do you think you are?
Now, the idea of myself going, hey, I'm going to make YouTube videos, I mean, I feel absolutely bloody ridiculous. It's what I wanted to do, so hey, let's go for it. Now the thing about this is you need to be very vulnerable with yourself. And when I sit down and ask myself, what videos do I want to make a topic of? This topic came up. Here I am in the midst of changing careers, and what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about that. So I've spent the time and now I'm delivering it to you because that's what I want to do. Got it? You get it, right? Your true desires do lay underneath your fears.
Don't pick a career based on fear.
It's very easy for us to, when we start thinking about what is it we love, what do we want to do, to very quickly go to how can we have it.
In an emergency situation, the natural thing to do is to look at a telegraph pole.
Maybe it's not about what you want to do, like doing actions. Actions are the things you take in order to create what you love. We all want to create something, and why not create what you love? Love is a principle about what you truly care about and what you truly desire. Let that be your guiding force. See, I'm not disputing these ideas that things like the Hedgehog Principle don't apply. I just think you're putting the cart before the horse.
It happened accidentally. What I was good at, what I loved, and what paid me well. But for you, if this hasn't happened to you accidentally, this should happen to you intentionally.
He didn't get lucky. He focused on what he loved, and when he focused on what he loved, but like the red car principle, he was able to spot the opportunities when they came along and jumped on them.
The red car theory. If I tell you, on your way home, for every red car that you see, I'll pay you $1,000. When you get home that night, you are absolutely sure how many red cars you saw.
Those things that we love are so important to us that it's very hard to be vulnerable about them. They're probably the hardest things to be vulnerable about because we actually really deeply care about them. And when we go for them, the first thing we want to do is try and control it and try and make sure it happens. And that's where we lose our focus.
In an emergency situation, the natural thing to do is to look at a telegraph pole.
Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
So my first recommendation is get yourself a copy of this book. You can look in my description on this video and find a link to it. Read that. The story of this book was I read it a few times just going, wow, amazing. There is so much knowledge and wisdom in here, but I just can't work out how to apply it to my life. Like, how do I do that? Eventually, I just grew the fuck up and went and sought out a coach. That's where I now work with my coach, Ian McIntyre, who is trained in what's taught in this book. And I've been working with him for a few years now, which has led me to here and being in this position to be able to share this information with you. The second practical step I've got, which I've already alluded to, is go get a coach.
I think it's time.
Because even reading that book, I had to go get a coach. I wanted to talk to somebody who understood what was in that, who understood what was taught in that book and could help me get my head around it. And then after getting a coach, I went and got training where I got an experiential experience of how to actually find out what I love and being able to associate with other people on the same journey. So that's the third practical piece of advice, is to associate with other like-minded people. If that's what you're seeking for, leave comments in this video and start joining my community, and I can put you in touch with my coach and the community of people that I'm aware of that are amazing people, and they're on this journey too. You know, so this isn't just about finding jobs.
Jobs.
It's about creating your life story. Whose life is it anyway? It's yours. What do you really care about? Think about it. You've got to look where you want to go. Your focus creates your reality. Keep focusing on what you love, focus on what you truly, really desire, and all the blessings to you.